I guess since I kind of worked my way up here quicker than I thought I was, let me start with what I was going to say when I got up here. In 2008, we platted this whole subdivision. And we platted, 20-some lots. And we looked at the costs of infrastructure, of sewer, sidewalks, asphalt, gravel, everything, PVC pipe. And I never would have imagined a local business coming to me and saying, we want to build an office building next to the USDA building, which would require me to rezone property because it was zoned R2, would create this issue that we've been dealing with for the last 3 months. And so with that rezone, it triggered a larger dedication for Parkland.
Right.
I can't just give up a lot, and I can't just give up 2 lots. And back in 2008, when I planned this out, I have the numbers from there. And so I tried to say, okay, to expand the park in consideration for my rezone request, I will move it up here and be able to expand it. The city council and the neighbors rejected that idea. And so I was asked by the neighbors in the city of what we can do to try to resolve this. And I was asked how much it would cost for those lots, and I gave you guys I used prices that I thought what the market dictates.
I see where you're coming from.
And I know with one lot, I'm still required to give like 4,000 square feet. I just can't cut a lot in half and have a 4,000 square foot little square next to 8,000 square foot lots.
I'm asking you to. I was just asking for a lot.
I can't just get, if you guys can't do option number 1, then option number 2 to us is our next best option.
If I may, one more time, and then I'll relinquish my chair here.
All right.
Actually,
Go ahead.
it's the same thing here, because what Walter's saying, if we take number 1 as your dedicated lot, then we still have to buy lot number 2, which is a $70,000 lot. So the money is still the same.
It costs us 30.
I wasn't proposing to buy a second lot.
Okay.
No, I know you
Mike doesn't want
It's
just
now.
one lot,
Tom has a point.
I
Tom?
don't know what.
He's trying to give them.
Okay. Tom Lamar.
Yeah, maybe we need to go back. I don't know who you're clicking, right?
So who's playing with it?
Maybe the one with the green. That's good enough. Maybe the lot. Okay, so I first wanted to start with the benefit of the one lot that the route that Walter's taking from a parkland benefit, and that is when you're driving down this road, visually you'll be able to see right into the park. So there is a benefit. I mean, there's a theory. In theory, there'd be lot number 2 developed right here, but there's a benefit of this corner lot being occupied for the parkland, even if this were to be developed over here. So if we aren't, so I do see this third option as a potential option of disposing out the obligation of the 9914 through some lot around this park. And I think that the best lot for that is this one right there. And that gets us, in this particular case, 7,700 square feet towards the 9914 that's in, theoretically owed because we did the rezone, we did the, made all these steps, vacated the right of way, did all these things. The rezone was the trigger for the additional parkland. So then we're down to negotiating out the last 300
If
And if we can
Wait,
figure out the
wait a
last
minute.
2,300 somehow, either that's tacked on to some other piece, or we use it towards purchasing the last lot, or I don't know what.
I had a plan for that, but
$100.
I had a plan for that, but I couldn't get past lot 1.
Well, I'm figuring, I agree with Walter's direction that that's the best way to, start whittling down this owed land of 9914 is that the original, that big 7,700 would be a big chunk of that.
Okay, it looks like Bill may
Or,
have
I
a
don't know if
response for us
7,700
here.
is the right amount, but.
Tim, you had something.
Well, Bill has an answer for us.
Just to look back at Dan's question, so for the area that would be east of the
Back to that
Bennett's,
one, Dwight.
for the area that would be east of the Bennett's would be roughly maybe 29,000 square feet in that area. That's assuming we've got 20% that's lost and you've got 80% net, which might be a touch high, and a 7% overall dedication because we've got motor business on the frontage of the highway and or on Mountain View, and there could be residential. So you got a 9 and a 5 spread, so average at 7%. So that'd be 29,500 square feet. For the property to the west of the Bennett property, that was looking at about 32,400 square feet on those two. And that's just very rough, making a rough cut at the net developable. And until you know the street network and how it's going to lay out, you won't really know that. And an assumption of land use. So you have 3/4 of an acre on the one to the west and somewhere, just over half acre, closer to, approaching 3/4 of an acre on
About
the
an acre
property
and a
to the
quarter
east.
total.
Yeah, maybe just under an acre and a half, probably.
Okay. If I can continue then with what I was thinking.
Sure, go ahead.
You talked about adding this 9914 to whatever's going on here. A park is probably less likely here if you went ahead and added that whole, this is almost an acre. Well, no, I guess it's not 10,000 square feet. Let's talk round numbers. 10,000 square feet here, plus about an acre and a half, just a little less than, all added to that, seems to me a lot better park than, like we said, we're talking whittling away. I'd be in favor of banking if we can bank it with these two. And I don't know, and I'm waiting for the, don't start talking about that yet. But you're seeing what I'm talking, is banking it and hoping for whatever happens with these two.
And that would be my second option if we cannot do a deal to get lot 1.
Sue,
Okay, I have a question on, if the city were to own these two lots, does the city pay for the sidewalk and the infrastructure around the edge of it?
Well, the ordinance requires that the public improvements are installed by the developer for the parkland dedication.
Okay, so the developer has to, can we go to the next slide, please? The developer has to pay for that infrastructure anyway, no matter where the park is.
That'd be the city.
That's the way the ordinance is
Okay.
written.
So here's, now Dwight's not going to like me for this because it's going to put an odd shape in. But if the city were to have these two, they would scoot the park over, and then Thompson's were still able to have two lots here trading out, then what would happen is you would have visibility from two sides into the park. The park might look like this, but you would have visibility from two sides, whereas it is proposed now, you only have visibility from one side. I know Thompson's need them, once you put in, you start developing, you need to get your money back from that to develop the next part. And so I'm sympathetic to his, wanting what he needs for his lots, because raw land is different than developed land. But anyway, go ahead. You look like you had a...
hearing, please.
Well, staff fully understands this decision is the council's, but we do have a process set up to take these questions to the Parks and Rec Commission. Dwight and his staff analyze those. We have a Parks and Rec master plan that is coming forward. The reason I was clearing my throat on Dan's issue is that that isn't part of this discussion right now, and in the master plan that's to come to you, no doubt there is a plan for some
Right.
sort of parkland development in that area. I think the issue before the council tonight is, are you willing to take one lot? Are the Thompsons willing to bargain for that one lot and dedicate that one lot? With Mr. Park's generous donation, is the council willing to, even for the price that's being requested, to have an expanded
$35,000.
park in that area? Is the council willing to do that? As Mr. Regan did point out, with that additional donation, it does bring the price of the lot down to the point where it becomes more reasonable. Now, if you're talking about public improvements, if you're paying $70,000, that is the price of an improved lot, and the developer, of course, would be responsible for the improvements adjacent to that lot. The difference is the city would be purchasing the lot rather than receiving it in dedication.
And would he then be, and then would he then, the developer then be responsible for the improvements adjacent to it if we bought it?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's you're
That's what I
paying
asked.
developed lot price. It's just as if you were
All right.
buying a
I got
residential
it.
developed lot. I'm
Okay.
assuming, isn't that correct?
Okay,
Gary?
I got it.
That's how I understand, yes, yeah. I'm sorry, this is so out of
Please do.
parliamentary, it's so unconventional, I feel like.
No,
Can I say
we're
something now?
unconventional. Go for it.
Can I
Yeah.
now say something back to all you guys?
Please do.
Okay.
Please talk back.
So when I was approached with this idea, it was always for the two lots. And so what I did is it laid out in the letter. And so we were at 95,000 if the pedestrian easements stayed where they are. And then what we thought is for the cost of the pedestrian easements, since the park would now have frontage on two sides, we could credit $20,000. So we were down to $75,000 for the two lots. And then on Friday, talking to Bill and hearing about funds that were coming together between different entities, I heard a number of like 65,000 being tossed around. And so I whacked another $5,000 off and came down to 70. And so I'm going to now, I guess, propose this back to you. Instead of $70,000, could we go $35,000 from basically Mr. Parks' generous donation? It gets you the corner lot. I know Dwight doesn't want just the one lot because it makes a goofy shaped park. And then I guess what I was thinking is $35,000 for one lot. You'll have all the improvements. I do all the improvements. And then I don't know how we figure out this 20-some hundred square feet. I don't know.
We just went backwards.
You're asking that we pay for 75% of what you owe us anyway, if I hear you correctly. Someone, maybe not the city, but the individuals, are going to pay for lot one, but you owe it to us anyway. Don't think so, Garrett.